Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Winback, and on today's episode of Heroes of the Storm, we are going to be playing Kael'Thas in our A through Z playthrough. Lots of people's favorite character, lots of people's most uninteresting character, if you want to call him something other than fun. But he's a fire mage. He does things... I'm not gonna lie to you, this whole stint of characters, from Junkrat to Kerrigan, is rough, because there are a lot of people in Quick Match who just do not have the remotest concept of what it means to protect those characters, and makes games really hard. But anyway, the YouTube video is a YouTube video, so feel free to like, comment, subscribe your heart out, tell everybody about it. I'm sure your grandmother would love to know, even those people at work who never heard of HOTS their entire lives. Whatever, Lucio's dead. The team comps today are going to be Tychus, Artanis, Imperius, Lili, Kael'Thas versus Lucio, Asmo, Hogger, Murky, and Zul'jin on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Now, right now, you'll notice that we have both an Imperius and an Artanis hanging out in the top two lanes like they have some sort of wave clear to contribute to this rotation. Tychus, being all of the damage, is in the bottom lane. I don't know why. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I'm a little bit frustrated at this point in the video, so I might get a little bit ping happy as to reasons. But hopefully it occurs to people that they need to go to the right lane. I don't care who does it, honestly. I mean, I would prefer Artanis, but at this point, Tychus just needs to fuck off. Like, go do something else. Force one of the bruisers to go do it. It's literally not his job. He's wasting all of his kit down there with a Murky. Unless you're living in, like, the year 2016, I guess, where you still need fast auto attacks to kill a Murky pufferfish. But even then, that's not a good reason. I'm sorry, I talked about it too much. This is a Kael'Thas video. No need to get salty and nerdy this early on. Let's just do what we do. Kael'Thas and Tomb of the Spider Queen have a very good relationship. It is extremely easy for him to clear waves and pick up gems and do it relatively safely. Because the lanes are so close together, I mean, it's just easy. That being said, it also gets you a lot of globes to collect for your level 1 talent. For those of you who need that still, my bad. It's going to be Mana Addict at 1. You've got Netherwind at 4. 7 is going to be Burned Flesh, I believe. But also Sunfire Enchantment. I don't know. 7 isn't a huge deal. We'll talk about that in a second. 10, we're going to take Pyroblast. 13, we're going to take Pyromaniac. 16 is going to be the Twin Spheres. Or Ignite. No, it's probably Ignite. Never mind. And then your 20 will be Flamethrower. So, the build, we'll talk about it, because I do think it requires we go a little bit more in depth. But ultimately, Kael'Thas' abilities are the reason that the build is so... I don't know. It's kind of hard to build Kael'Thas in different ways. There's only one real build that does any hard damage and keeps you relatively safe, and that's this one. So... Your abilities, though, your Q is called Flame Strike. After 1 second, it is going to explode in a pretty big area and deal a whole bunch of damage. Your W is called Living Bomb. This is a point-and-click ability. You're going to click on someone. It's going to deal a little bit of damage over time, and eventually is going to explode, doing more damage, and then spreading that same time, overtime explosion to other heroes and enemies around them, which is fantastic for clumped up fuckers that like to play Quick Match. And then your E is called Gravity Lapse. This is a straight line stun that's going to stun the first target hit, and it's going to line up your combo very, very, very well. It's just really strong CC, and I would compare it to some pretty ridiculous engage. As long as Kael'Thas can get into a position to use it well, it is very good at lining up kills for the team. So your trait, the other more important thing about Kael'Thas is that when you hit your D button, you are going to activate an empowered ability. So all 3 of your abilities do something new when you have your trait activated. Your Q is going to increase in radius by 50%. That's it. There's no damage increase. The worst one of the 3. 100% going to tell you that right now. This is the worst thing to do with your Verdant Spheres. Your W is going to give you a free Living Bomb. No mana, no cooldown. You can just put it on whatever you want. So it's basically 2 Living Bombs immediately if you hit that button and then hit W. And then your E is the most impactful of the 3, but it's also the one that you'll probably see me use the least because I'm just soak bot duty at this point. But E is going to allow your Verdant Spheres to stun 3 people, and it's going to increase the stun duration by 50%, which means they're going to be stunned for 1.5 seconds. And that's potentially 3 people, 3 heroes that you can hit with 1 stun for 1.5 seconds, and you can just line up all the damage in the world on them. Now, that being said, again, I don't get to use it a whole lot in this game, which is a tragedy, because we're just soaking literally everything, getting globes, getting gems, getting experience. It's just nuts how much wave clear we're getting away with in this game, and the enemy team does not seem super keen to respond to it either, so I guess we just win. But yeah, anyway, Kael'Thas basically has an engage as a mage for his team with that ranged gravity lapse that is empowered. So just remember that when you're playing this character. The other thing to kind of remember about it is that it is a slow-moving projectile. So sometimes if you're trying to point-blank that on a mobile bitch like Zeratul or Genji or whatever, it can be tough to hit because the skill shot itself is pretty thin, and unless you are just nailing that immediately with perfect reaction time, it can be rough at times. So anyway, all that being said, just remember your W and your E are your most important powered buttons, and your Q is probably the least worth your time until you get way later into the game, which is where our talents are going to come in and really make the ability shine, but we'll talk about that later. We've got Pyroblast on our ultimate key. Our R button is going to be the just gigantic Hadouken that we charge up for 100 years and then send into someone's open mouth hole. In doing that, if we've cast it at the right time, if all of the shields are down, if everything is the way that it is supposed to be, the person who gets Pyroblasted should just disappear from existence. They'll get deleted, the simulation will no longer apply to them, and you can go on about your day. It is only one character, but at the same time, remember, you can also use this ability to engage a team fight. Not only is it just a shitload of damage, but it's homing, and you can cast it from a pretty ridiculously long range. So remember, if the team fight is just breaking out, and you can catch a squishy unaware, go ahead and launch that bad boy at them. Somebody like maybe a Li Ming, in this case, a Lucio. You can just fire it off, and then that character has almost no health. He's going to walk forward with the shield on, which is a little bit unfortunate. At least he's a smart hogger, so we know that we're not playing against total potatoes. That grenade was ridiculous. I set everything up for him. Just let it be known. It was all of my damage that caught him down that low, and he just took advantage with his fucking grenade from the heavens, honestly. Just raining down, exploding 2 people. That was fantastic. That was that kind of thing where you just shock and awe in the middle of the game. Kudos, my friend. Way to go. Glad you made it out of the bottom lane. You're much more useful everywhere else. But anyway, back to Kael'Thas himself. The talents you're going to see us picking up are level 1, we're going to be taking Mana Addict. Mana Addict is 100% requirement for Kael'Thas. Not only is it going to increase his actual mana to let him cast more abilities, but it is his only defensive option as a mage. And considering that he doesn't get an ice block, he doesn't get any sort of movement ability whatsoever, when Kael'Thas gets gone on, he is fucked. Unless you have Mana Barrier ready, and you can use that massive shield to stave off a whole bunch of burst damage. So, that being said, in order to use Mana Barrier, you have to pick up globes, and you have to pick up lots of them. We're sitting on 28 right now, so we do have a pretty large shield and a lot of mana. Looks like Hogger and Imperius are having some trouble killing each other. Artanis going to be over there letting the enemy team have an easy one, though, that's for sure. And Murky's going to walk away with the Living Bomb, only to explode at the end anyway. Now our turn-in's pushing down, so we have a little bit of room to breathe while this is all going on. And we do have a shitload of wave clear, so if we get rid of all these minions, and we actually stay together as a team and push whatever lane makes sense. The top lane I like this. Even though Artanis isn't here, we can still do... Okay. There's the clear from the Asmo. Doesn't hit the Web Weaver, thank God, but looks like Tychus is in a bit of trouble. Is he going to... He got the Asmo, I guess. He is 100% trading his life, and then our Pyroblast is going to rain down on Lucio, removing that guy well into the future. 25 seconds on that Lucio. That's one of those moments where I was like, oh, looks like sound barrier's down. Let me target the squishy mobile fucker with my point-and-click incineration ability, and we'll watch shit happen. Looks like Artanis is going to lay down the beam on Zul'jin, so there's nothing that we can do to really secure that kill, unfortunately, since Pyroblast is gone. But at the same time, it's free building, so we take those where we can get them. Now, again, your talents, your level 1 Mana Addict, mandatory. Don't ever pick Convection. You'll get laughed out of the game, I promise you. Felon Fusion is better than Convection, but still pretty bad when compared to Mana Addict. So just don't be that guy. People like to make fun of those talent pickers, and until the dev team decides to actually change the game and Kael'Thas, it's always going to be that way. So, anyway, your next couple talents are going to make you do more damage, and that's really all the DPS talents do, honestly. Yeah. Ooh, big spear from the Imperius. Hogger has got a living bomb on him. Can we catch him with the flame strike? Got him. He's got an ignite on him as well, so he's going to pop later on. There it is. Living bomb takes him out off the screen. That is a fadeaway Kael'Thas kill. You're welcome. It happens all the time. So your Netherwind and Energy Royal are going to be your big pickups at level 4. Usually you're going to take Netherwind just because the increased range on that bad boy lets you engage with your Empowered E from much, much safer distance and potentially, you know, catch the enemy sleeping as they're trying to walk towards you. And then your 7 is actually going to be Burned Flesh. So this is an 8% max health damage. This used to be a 16 talent, but it's been swapped to this level for some other options for Kael'Thas, but 8% if you're hitting 2 people with your... Oh, that cleanse from the Lily. Thank you so much. And looks like Murky's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass. Our team is really, really split right now, so we're just going to try to separate everybody and get back together. We're fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. Zul'jin's dead. Murky's dead as well. I just want to get the turn in so we can get this thing moving towards the enemy keeps. 39 globes, way to go. You do have to hit 2 people with Burn Flesh to make it actually good, so aiming for clumps of dudes is going to be great, but at the same time, if you don't manage to do that, I wouldn't be too upset about it. You could also end up taking the Sunfire enchantment here, and then at 16, you could just pick up Twin Spheres. If you want to go that route of build, you can, but a lot of people will live and die by Ignite because the amount of damage that the Ignite does is ridiculous. Now, the 13 talent Pyromaniac, again, I think it's probably the only one that you can take. If you're going for a full Flame Strike build and you're something like Aram, you could probably take the slow or the increased radius, but really, the cooldowns are what you need, and with this build specifically, Flame Strike is going to be your biggest source of burst damage, so having that up as often as possible is going to be super, super important. Pyromaniac is going to reduce Kael'Thas' basic ability cooldowns by 0.5 seconds every time that the Living Bomb ticks, and Living Bomb ticks, let's see, it's 3 seconds. I believe it ticks every 0.5 seconds, So that's 6 ticks, meaning that's 3 seconds off of all of your other cooldowns. And you can have 2 of those bad boys going at any given time, so you can reduce cooldowns quick. Really, really, really quick. And I think I just put an eyelash directly into my eye hole, so love it. Anyway, Artan is getting rooted by the Zul'jin and is trying to trade. Looks like he is going to, while my healer stands very firm right on top of my balls. Is Lucio dead? Nope, he had the sound barrier, wasted it on himself alone, and is going to run back to his base now, presumably to get his health back. Nope, he just tapped. Now he's going to try to come back, lose a bunch of health after hitting that fountain. I don't know if that was worth it. Anyway, right. And now, 16, Ignite. Flame Strike is going to apply a Living Bomb to the enemy hero closest to its center who is not currently affected by Living Bomb. This means that anytime that you hit someone with your Flame Strike, they are going to get hit with a W as well. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's going to help your basic ability cooldowns too with the ticking that it does on the Living Bomb there. And then if you're hitting 2 people, it's just going to apply it to the person closest to the center without a Living Bomb. So you can still get that 8% max health damage from your Flame Strike, as well as the follow-up damage on your Ignite, which is how you can get those ridiculously good fadeaway kills on the Hogger like earlier, and just line up shitloads of AoE damage all over the enemy team, because they'll get hit with Flame Strikes, they'll get hit with Living Bombs, they'll get hit with Pyroblast, they'll just get hit with literally everything, freaking out about how the team is passing the bomb to them, because that's what we do in Quick Match. No one knows how far that Living Bomb actually goes. So the story is that it's still being spread to people and killing them to this day by their friendly people. He's dead. Like, you can only run for so long until the Hunter Killer missile rains down from space and tells your family a nice story about how you were a very good person at one point. Probably? I don't know. Feels like it should read you a bedtime story after chasing you that far. I mean, but it is what it is. So 16 out of the way, we've got 20. Flamethrower is going to increase the cast range of Flame Strike by 40%. If Flame Strike hits 2 or more heroes, its cooldown is reduced by 4 seconds. That is going to couple with Pyromaniac, and it is going to let you stay so ridiculously far away from the enemy team that you should be able to just shit fire all over everyone. And it will never be a problem because you'll be so far away, you'll have all the mana in the world, the cooldown will be reduced all the time, and the enemy team just will be bombarded with damage. It's crazy. It is... I feel like at 20, Kael'Thas is better than Chromie. Is that a controversial statement? Possibly, but I still feel like it. Because of Arcane Barrier and because of Flamethrower. So this build and that being there, I think, is better than Chromie's shit. And maybe I'm wrong. Depending on what Chromie's doing, ultimately, Slowing Sands is still busted as fuck, and she can always rewind. Nah, you know what? Never mind. Take that back. Chromie's still broken. Oh my god. Just let me Pyroblast him. Go do something else. It would have been way cooler to watch him explode after B-stepping, you know? Anyway. Yeah, I can't believe I just compared Kael'Thas and Chromie. There's no fucking way. Kael'Thas does a lot of damage, but Chromie's just got all of that damage and then all of the utility in her kit, and it's crazy. Just crazy. So, all that out of the way, I mean, the build doesn't really ever change when you're playing Kael'Thas. It also isn't super difficult to work around. And as long as you get the understanding down that you have to have that level 1 talent for the globes, I'd say you're in a good position to play the character. It's not like he's complicated in any way. One thing I will mention to you, though, about clearing waves, if you're not aware, and part of the reason that I'm just on my soapbox about the Flame Strike upgrade, you never use your empowered Q to clear a wave in the early game. It's just worthless. So what you're going to do instead is wait for the minion wave to pile in. You're going to use a free Living Bomb on the middle, the leader minion. You're going to put a Flame Strike down on the rest of the wave. That's going to explode, cause the Living Bomb to explode, and clear the wave for you. Not only does that do faster clear for you, but your empowered Q, even though it hits the whole wave, doesn't actually do any more damage. So it's still a slower clear. So if you're playing Kael'Thas, remember, it's W, Q, maybe an auto attack or two, and then you're done. Never, ever use your empowered Q unless you're using it to hit multiple heroes. And that's only in order to get that 8% max health or the cooldown reduction from Flamethrower. Looks like I'm just going to waste another Pyroblast trying to get some of those cheeky fade-away explosions, but oof. Got to keep Lily alive. She's the only reason that we're still in this game, and Asmo is going to die while the Murky chases her down. She's been holding my hand this entire game, keeping me from certain death, so I'm going to do the exact same thing. Lucio is the only one left alive to try and stop us from ending the game, so I guess we could try to core, even though we don't have a whole lot of damage for it, which is a little bit rough. I want to save my cooldowns just in case, so I can miss them when my tank actually hits his abilities. You know what, it's fine. I'm just going to auto-attack the core in shame, and maybe the game will be over, and I won't embarrass myself anymore. Just won't do it. He went forward. Nope, just had that 5 more seconds to really make sure I miss a skill shot on a Lucio. It's, thought he was going to go up and then back. It turns out he went up and then over. Thank you, Blaze. I appreciate it. Okay. I'll take it. I didn't deserve it, but I'll take it. So, the build again, in case you need it, for Kael'Thas. Again, this is probably not going to change at all. 59 globes. 10 more would have been a lot nicer, but you know, whatever. We're going to take Mana Addict at 1. 4 is going to be Netherwind. 7 is Burned Flesh. Pyroblast at 10. 13 is going to be Pyromaniac. 16 is going to be Ignite. And 20 will be your Flamethrower. That is it for the Kael'Thas video. The boring hero is out of the way, even though we didn't die a single time that match. The tank, the healer, and the mage didn't have a single death. Meanwhile, our Artanis and our Tychus, who couldn't figure out what they were doing in the beginning of the game, really just kind of ran it down. So, just saying. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow with the other KT, Kael'Thas. He is going to hopefully breathe some spice into the mage slot for us. And then our final video for the week will be Kerrigan. Thank God, someone with a fun kit. And, yeah, we'll tackle that as it comes. Oh my God, how do I finish a video? Thanks for hanging out. See you tomorrow.